Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you guys are good. Sorry for the late start. I had some issues this morning that I had to um, deal with my StreamYard and everything. So, got that all done. And then I figured instead of waiting until 10:30, I was ready to go now. So, I might as well just start. So, first off, good morning. Hope you guys are good. Hope you're having a great start to your day or end to your day, no, depending on where you are. Okay, so a few things that I want to talk about this morning. I'm going to go over Katie. I'm really going to be focusing on Katie today. Um, yeah, got a lot to talk about with her. All right, so Brianna's World, good morning. Lady Roses, wait, what? Sue, Lori, Nicole, Scammy. Hope you guys are all good this morning. Again, sorry for the delay. Cajun Juju, welcome in. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to be this video is going to be mainly focused on Katie. However, there is something that I wanted to bring up from yesterday. I actually heard a lot of people, well, I didn't hear it, but a lot of people were commenting that they could tell how broken Chris was, how much he was, how much he was protective, and how much he cared about Sebastian and Katie, and that's why. Well, we'll get into that, but actually, we're gonna do that first, so then I can take the rest of this live and focus on Katie, which is the person that this live was supposed to originally be about today. But I can't. Yeah, I know. Hey, Holly. So might as well jump right into this. I mean, no need to put this off. So yesterday, this lady, I guess her name's Yada. She's a distant cousin of Katie's, and she felt the need to go up on Cluminati's panel and defend Katie. I mean, basically, she was up there defending them. Now, she says her stance is that she doesn't believe Katie and Chris. She also doesn't believe Seth. She thinks the truth lies somewhere in the middle of both of their theories. But anyway, so she goes up there and she's talking about how people have done her dirty, people have done her wrong on one side, and she's just coming up there to clear up some lies about Katie being around her, about Katie letting Sebastian be around her mother, right? Because we had all talked about that. So she says, listen, that didn't happen. She's going up there and basically trying to dispel lies that she says are lies that are going against her cousin Katie, right? Now, at one point, Chris jumps up on panel, and nobody knows he's in there, and he's sitting there listening to what this lady's saying, and then he just starts flipping out on this lady, right? Like getting angry at this lady, whatever. We're gonna listen to it, and but here's the thing. So when he comes up, people are like, "Oh my gosh, his voice is breaking. You can tell he's so broken, and this is hurting him, and I mean, my God, I feel so bad, and this is breaking my heart, yada yada yada." Yada yada yada. Well, I see something. Listen, timing is everything, and I see it a little different than a lot of people seen it. So I'm gonna play this section right here. Yeah, I know nothing about that lady. Okay, first of all, Deanna, good morning. Bling and Beezy, good morning. New to your channel, well, welcome. Glad to have you. Okay, so let's play this. So I'm gonna start it at 2:17:45. Okay. As long as what happens to this video, is it still up? Because I had this saved from last night. Hold on. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Oh, and hold on a second, guys. Okay, so now I can share this. All right, so this is the Shieda. Apparently, she used to, whatever, go on Betty's and was dishing about, apparently she was the exact opposite of the way she's being on this channel, which none of that's the point. Now, here's the point I want to make. Yada came up on Clue's panel at 1:32:05. Okay. Now, this is important, so this you need to pay attention to this time. At 1:32:05, she joins the panel. At 2:18, she says what she says. Okay. Now I'm gonna start it at 2:17:25 because timing is everything. 3 minutes after she says this, Chris jumps up on somebody was messaging Chris. Chris jumped up on panel, and this is why Chris got pissed off. Chris's voice wasn't broken because he was hurt. Chris's voice was not broken because he was sad and and protective. Chris's voice was the way it was because of what she said, and that's why he was so angry at her. It's funny, because I mean, she's out there, she's up here defending Katie, saying Katie did not do this. Katie would not, this would not happen. This is not true, right? And all of a sudden, Chris jumps up there and starts bitching her out and, you know, basically going at her for talking about Katie in the first. And I'm like, wait a minute, why would he get mad at her for being up there protecting Katie or defending Katie? So I had to go to the video, and then I was like, okay, timing is everything. So we're gonna start at 2:17:25.
The
What would
CM
you
maybe
would you say it's
Mr.
been in the past 90 days, or
No, it was when the first initial set of documents came out, the first
so back in November, November?
October-ish, end of October, beginning of November,
So you're saying you've stayed away from YouTube since then?
until Betty's live. Yeah.
Are
Okay.
you afraid of them?
Oh God, yeah.
How
I-
come?
And just to be clear, right now she's talking about Seth, Tony, Betty, all that.
Was,
Are you
but
now?
you know what? Because I'm sick and tired of being afraid of them. And then that whole thing that was put up, that show
Okay, listen.
that came on Saturday, that was dragging our family in the mud and them accusing that whole welfare check thing and
Oh my God!
bashing my Aunt Suzanne and
What live Saturday?
Steph's, right?
no, Betty's show.
Oh,
See,
And
we don't
then-
watch Betty like
yeah,
that.
and then
But
that
she did a show about like Katie's mom and
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
I
which
didn't know that.
she constantly keeps doing, which is it has no bearing on this case.
Mm.
And Katie would never leave. I just Okay, let me correct this. In my opinion, I can never imagine in a million years that she would ever leave Sebastian with her mother. Alone with her mother. Just cannot. Much less what Betty was accusing her of handing Sebastian over to her. That just wouldn't happen.
With all due respect, Gata, I personally don't want to hear about accusations Betty's made, and I'm not trying to be, slight.
No,
in any way.
I get you.
Um,
But you were asking me why all of a sudden I'm
no,
talking.
no, I get it, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
What do you find it funny that you and other people that are not apparently not directly involved or maybe directly named in this lawsuit are all coming out talking against this lawsuit all within, say, a 3 or 4 day period? Do you find that odd at all?
There's more than me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know there was more than me.
Uncle Taco and Michelle were just in Nonsense's chat the other day. That's what Granny was alluding to a while ago. That they've kind of
Wait, they're talking.
Wait a minute. I must have missed it. Hold on, guys. Sorry, hold on. I missed it.
And when did this go down? When did this happen?
Let me see. Oh, I don't know if I can switch screens on this.
The
What would
CN
you-
maybe
Would you say
Mr.
it's been in the past 90 days? Or
No, it was when the first initial set of documents came out. The first
Oh, who cares about this?
so back in November, October?
October-ish, end of October, beginning of November,
So you're saying you stayed away from YouTube since then?
until Betty's live. Yeah.
Are
Okay,
you afraid of them?
Oh God, yeah.
How
I
come
was.
are you
But
now?
you know what? Because I'm sick and tired of being afraid of them. And then that whole thing that was put up, that show that came on Saturday, that was dragging our family in the mud and them accusing that whole welfare check thing and
Oh my God.
bashing my Aunt Suzanne and
What live Saturday?
Steph's, right?
no, Betty's show.
Oh,
See,
And
we don't
then-
watch Betty like
yeah,
that.
and then
But
that
she did a show about like Katie's mom and
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
I didn't
which
know that.
she constantly keeps doing, which is it has no bearing on this case.
Oh.
And Katie would never leave. I just okay. Let me correct this. In my opinion, I can never imagine in a million years that she would ever leave Sebastian with her mother. Alone with her mother. Just cannot. Much less what Betty was accusing her of handing Sebastian over to her. That just wouldn't happen.
With all due respect, Gata, I personally don't want to hear about accusations Betty's made, and I'm not trying to be, slight.
No,
in any way.
I get you.
Um,
But you were asking me why all of a sudden I'm
no,
talking.
no, I get it, and I appreciate that.
Wait a minute. Where is it?
Do you find it funny that you and other people that are not apparently not directly involved or maybe directly named in this lawsuit are all coming out talking?
Oh
against
shit!
this
My bad. I
lawsuit
had the
all
wrong
within,
time up.
say, a
That was when
3 or
she was
4
getting
day
ready to
period?
leave.
Do you find that odd?
I was like, wait a minute. Why is this not making any sense? Hold on. I'm sorry. I had the wrong time up. I thought I left it in the right place. Okay, it's right here.
Great news,
Sorry
Spectrum
about
Internet
that, guys.
customers.
I was
Now
like,
you can try
why
Spectrum
am I
Mobile
not hearing
risk-free
what I'm
for a
looking
full
for?
year at no cost to you. Bring your own device and we'll pay off.
In the pitch black dark and hand him
Okay,
over
right
to
here.
any
Right here.
people, but where
So again, she's been on all this time, and Chris comes up after she says this right here.
Duchess would go and interview Katie, she would tag my cousin Beth in it so Beth could see
The video.
the video, and it would tag her Facebook, so it made it look like
Okay.
on Beth's, on her locations where she's been. When you get tagged, it makes it look like she's been there. She was there.
Mhm.
So sorry
Yeah,
about
I don't
that.
really understand
Had
the
the wrong
tag thing,
time. My
but
bad.
Granny Beth
But
is
that's
the
how it
one that
works.
knows Duchess.
I thought I
and
left it
set
in the
up
right
the
place.
initial interview.
Oh,
Do what?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just
Thank you.
letting her know that Beth is the one that knows Duchess and set up the
Yeah.
initial interview. She didn't
Oh,
Beth
catch
is my
that.
cousin.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't understand what people keep saying because respectfully Michelle and her husband said the same thing, the tacos, about something about Beth in the filing, and perhaps that's on me for not knowing what they're referring to. And I was just
Yeah,
seeking
Beth
some
had nothing
clarity.
to do with anything other than setting up that initial interview.
Okay, I see.
She has not seen Katie since the funeral, my Uncle Don's funeral. She got a call from my Aunt Suzanne because my Aunt Suzanne knew that Beth hung around these people, you know, Duchess's sister, and
But Yada,
new
how did
people.
you get involved with Nick and At Night and Tony?
Well, because I had initially talked to Betty because
Okay, it's
I
coming
thought
up
she
right
was
here,
gonna be
guys.
trustworthy. And then all of a sudden I'm contacted by Tony and Nick when Nick got involved, Nick and Dog. And, you know, they were asking me questions. Well, what about with all the allegations about my cousin and about Beth? And I was like, no, here's some information. Well, was she here? What about this camper? You know, I was like, no, here's this, here's this, here's this, no, this. And they were like, well, what about, they were asking about areas around where my cousin lives. You know, do you think a body could be here? Do you think it could be there? And I would send them pictures. Do you recognize this place? No. What kind of car do they drive? So I was like answering their questions about my family, kind of clearing up. No, that's not them. No, that's not them. And I'm like, look, my family does not have him.
Okay, right here. She says, my family does not have him. Now listen.
You know, we are a very large family, the Rosenbaums are. But no way in hell, Katie did not meet somebody in the pitch black dark and hand him over to anybody in this side of the family.
Okay, see, there it is. She says, my family does not have him. Katie did not meet somebody in the pitch dark and hand them over to someone on my side of the family. Right? That's what she said. Right after she says this, somebody must have contacted Chris. Chris jumps right up on panel and starts listening. And that is why he came out of the gate swinging at this woman. Not because she was up there defending Katie, which she has been doing since she was on panel, but because she says this one thing. She says, my family does not have him. Katie did not meet somebody in the pitch black or in the pitch dark and hand him over to somebody on my side of the family. That's what she said. And that is what set Chris off. That is why he calls in doesn't call in. He goes up on panel. And that is why he's pissed off. That is why his voice is breaking. Because I think shit is slow. Their shell is slowly cracking. And in my opinion, that's what did it. Is she literally said, now I'm not saying this woman is, I don't even know this lady from Adam, you know? So she could be a total crackpot. But that, I believe, in my opinion, is what set Chris off. So everybody wanted to say, oh my God, he's so heartbroken. Listen to his voice, blah, blah, blah. I think it's because she just, without saying it, without being in so many words, she just implemented his family. Because when she stands up there and she says, listen, my family doesn't have him. Katie didn't meet somebody in the dark and hand him over to somebody on my side of the family. So did she hand him over to somebody on the other side of the family? Like on Chris's side of the family?
This did not happen. So then that got quiet for a while. And then this green hoodie person came up and they were saying, oh, this looks like Katie's mom. And I said, send me the picture. And immediately back, I'm like, no, I can tell you from looking at them, that is not any woman, girl, anybody of my cousins. We all have the same figure shape. And let me tell you, we've all got a fat ass shaped like a pear. Not any of us. Not her mama, not any of us. I'm telling you, none of us are involved. We all have the same. I mean, we don't all get
2.5 minutes after she says he was not handed over to somebody on my side of the family, Chris jumps on panel. Now, call it what you want, say what you want. My opinion of why he did that and why he came out, because nobody could figure that out. They're like, wait a minute, why is he mad at her for defending Katie? Like, this makes no sense. Well, it wasn't that. It was implying that it was his side of the family, in my opinion, is why he got so butthurt about it.
along. Don't get me wrong. There was over 100 of us. Natural.
So it was at 147 or 148. Right here at 151. 3 minutes later is when he gets up.
I think at the time
On
it was
panel.
Exhibit 56 and 57.
Ms. Yada, would you be willing to send me those emails?
I think at the time it was Exhibit. Thing is,
You won't believe your eye. Or this eye.
I've heard so many lies that I'm trying to clear them up because he knows that Sebastian would have been with his great grandma Suzanne.
Have you and your
I
family
never once
been visited
heard.
by the police?
Nobody ever once mentioned to me anything about him doing that. And I've talked to him a few times, and he knew I was at the funeral, and he never once mentioned anything about him having to do a welfare check. There was no written agreement that Sebastian couldn't be anywhere near his grandmother. I mean, he just didn't want her near him, which
Can you believe that, though? This crackpot says there was no written agreement or anything that said Sebastian couldn't be around his grandmother. There was no written agreement. No, there was no written agreement. It was the judge saying, listen, you sick bitch, you can't be around children, period. There was no written agreement, lady.
I wouldn't want her left alone with him but he was there with his great grandma.
So the rumor.
So she does admit to him being around this woman. It's so funny. She does admit to him being around this woman, but what she says is they're never alone together. Sebastian and this woman are never left alone together, like we were told. She says, yeah, Sebastian was there, the grandma was there, but they were never alone together.
About Sebastian being left with Katie's mother, you find to be untrue.
There's no way.
Thank you.
Katie would not do that.
That's important.
No way in hell.
Yeah. Like,
I don't want to call it the elephant in the room, but is this like Chris on panel?
You know it,
Another one.
Oh,
you know it.
and I've been listening the whole time. Good afternoon, Miss Yada. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, I'm not so fine with you right now, to be honest with you,
That's fine.
because I have not had the pleasures of ever seeing you face to face. And after speaking with your family, we won't ever see face to face.
Oh my
Oh, that's fine with
I
me
don't
too.
appreciate you opening your mouth and inserting yourself into a situation you got no business being in. No,
I'm just here clearing up some lies
No,
that
you're
have been
not
said
clearing
about
up air,
Katie and her
ma'am.
mom.
no, you're not. You're not clearing up anything. All you're doing is jumping from panel to panel.
You hear the anger in his voice. You hear the broke. It's funny because if you look, people in chat are going, oh my God, he's so broken. Oh my God. My heart is breaking for Chris right now. Oh my God. He's so protective over Katie and Sebastian. And it's like, dude, again, that's not what is going on here. I think the reason that he sounds upset and the reason that he is so angry is because she just said has nothing to do with Katie's side of the family. We don't have Sebastian on Katie's side of the family. He wasn't handed over to somebody on our side of the family. But she totally left Chris's family out there to, you know what I mean? She left his family out there to hold the, I don't know, however you want to say it. She left them out in the cold. We'll say that.
The person, and getting yourself involved in something you don't need to be involved in. You really
I have
don't.
not. Okay, whatever.
Ma'am,
Clue,
do
if you have any more
honestly think
questions,
that the videos out there
Well,
aren't still
maybe,
out there?
Maybe hear him out, you know?
oh, I know what he's
That's
talking about,
fair.
but what I'm saying is I've heard so many lies that I'm trying to clear them up, and they're
Right.
bashing
Hear him
Katie
out.
about
Hear him
being
out,
hear
around
me
her
out for a
mom.
minute. So hear me
Yada,
out
hear
for a
him
minute.
out.
Okay? Maybe you wouldn't have to clear up some lies if you didn't get involved. That's what I'm getting at. You inserted yourself into something you're not a part of. You haven't seen Katie since that funeral. You really haven't. You have not been a part of Katie's life.
He's trying not to cry. I think, oh, these poor people. Can you hear the hurt in his voice? Can you hear the anger in his voice? I'm like, oh my God, are you people you guys are cracked.
You have no involvement with Sebastian, with Seth, with me, my wife.
The only time Chris gets like this is when somebody talks about his mama or his side of the family. And we've seen that over and over again. And I think the pressure's on right now. I think, people can see what's coming down the pipe. And I think people are starting to get a little scared. And I think that's exactly what is happening right here. And that is exactly why his whole facade is about to come tumble into the freaking ground. And he knows it. And that's why his voice is the way that it is. Because she just left his side of the family out there to dry. Or out there, you know what I mean? Holding the thing.
Any part of that family, you don't. But you have inserted yourself for no good reasons. Now, when was the last time you spoke with your whole family? Let me ask you that question.
With all of them combined,
Good
been a long
proportion.
time.
Exactly. There's a reason for that, ma'am. A real good reason for that. That's not something we're going to air on this show or air out anywhere else. But I would like for you to think about it. I don't
There's a
appreciate
reason. You probably don't know the right reason.
Well, it's like this. I've talked to enough of the family. I'm willing to listen to you.
Here's the thing. Chris did this. He just did this with her. Like, oh, I know something about you. I'm not going to air it on here, but if you keep talking, we might just have to do that. He did the same thing with Seth, with Sebastian, Well, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to have to air some things that, and then nobody's going to want to look for Sebastian. Like, Chris has this intimidation and trying to intimidate or hold something over somebody's head to get them to shut the fuck up. And I don't know why people can't see that.
Oh, I'm not giving my reason. I'm
sorry, guys. I'll be
telling
back
life.
with you.
Yeah,
Just
don't-
like
don't
I'm not
Okay,
go
going.
well, I would be
I'm
more
just
than
not
happy to
ignoring
talk to you
chat. I'll
offline.
just.
I'm
I'll
more
I
than
think
happy
that's
to
a really
talk to you.
good
come back
idea,
over there. I just wanted to get
actually.
through
I do
this
think
section.
happy to
you
hear
guys
it.
should have a conversation, not
I
in
will
front of
ask
YouTube.
you publicly from this day forward, don't speak about Sebastian. Don't speak about Katie. Stay out of this situation. You're doing nothing for it. You're already sitting here trying to, what you're calling, squash the lies. That's fine. Squash the lies with the proof. Bring the receipt.
That's the other thing, right? That totally makes no sense. So she says, "Listen, I'm out here trying to dispel these lies, dispel these rumors." And Chris says, "What a weird thing to say, right?" Because she's out here defending Katie. She's out here saying Katie did not do this, Katie, blah, blah, blah. So and then he says to her, well, if you want to dispel lies, that's one thing, but don't do it verbally. Bring some receipts. So let me get this straight. She's out here trying to protect Katie and her side of the family. And you get all pissed off and you want to say to her, oh, well, your verbiage ain't working. If you want to dispel some lies, bring some receipts. She's trying to protect your wife, you douchebag. And you're out here saying, well, where's your receipts? Bring the proof. Bring the proof. Bring the proof that my wife didn't allow Sebastian around her mother. You know what I'm saying? He makes himself look like a total freaking idiot.
Bring paper to the table, not verbal. You can't prove a verbal situation unless you have a recorded session of it. So once again, it's your word against everybody else's
So
word.
clearly, Chris did not come out in protection of Katie or Sebastian. Chris came out in protection of himself and his own family. Do you guys see what I'm saying with all that? So I can be done with that nonsense. You guys see what I'm saying? All right, let me go back up, see what I missed here. Tina girl, hello. Lori, good morning. Sorry, I'm just going through it. Lisa B, always, good morning. Karen, hello, welcome. Kimberly, good morning. T. Thompson. Kim G, Mama. Poppy Love, good morning. Mama May, I just don't want to miss anybody. RJ, hello. Sam, Julie. Passion Flower. Good morning, everybody. Glad you guys are here. All right. Where's Summer? Good morning. Yeah, that could be too. That could be too. Doesn't want her to dispel too much. Nicole. Nice. Transplant veggies. Hey, Squirrels on Fire. Lilac. All right. Good morning, everybody. Lady Roses. Okay. Now, I was up till like 3 a.m, just writing down like things that bothered me about Katie, things that didn't make sense, things that, thank you, Squirrels. I appreciate that. Same. Things that, hey, good morning, Bex. All right. So, let me grab my handy dandy notebook. Oh my God, I watched too much Blue's Clues as a kid. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to go. I want to go over some of Katie's interviews, just how she acted from day one, being the very beginning up until her last interview that she did. Okay. Now there's only 4. And they're short because they don't talk for long. I'm going to tell you. These notes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're going to go over these interviews. So let me just tell you some of this stuff. That have always bugged me about Katie, right? Now, according to herself, she was the only one home with Sebastian. Katie told us that she always let the dog sleep when Chris was gone, and we were told that Chris was gone from the beginning of February. When Chris was gone, Katie let the dog sleep with her, okay? She says she put Sebastian to bed at 9 o'clock. On I think it was the second interview, when she heard the thud. She didn't mention the thud in the first interview. She heard a thud at 10 o'clock. And then on the third interview, she says that, and he answered her. So first interview, no thud. Second interview, thud, but no response. Third interview, thud and response. Okay, where she says that Sebastian answered her. Again, we have no proof of that. Now think about this. She was on the phone from 9 until 12. When she got off the phone, she said she was falling asleep on the phone, and Chris said to her, put the dogs up and go to bed. Why put the dogs up, though? Because she said herself that when Chris is not home, the dogs sleep in the bed with her. So why that night did Chris tell her to put the dogs up? She always talked about how the 25th was a good day, a fun day. There was no fighting. He was not in trouble. And she mentions that a few times. Now, I guess somebody is seen on video. Oh, again, we don't know this. We were told this. Somebody was seen on video taking out the garbage. Now, people who have seen that video said you cannot tell who that is. You cannot make out who it is. You can just see a person with a garbage can. You can't tell if that's Sebastian, Katie, who it is. Let me go here now. So, the day, BJ's, then home to put the snacks away, then to the bowling alley, then to Texas Roadhouse, right? And then she mentions that she was with family earlier in the day. Hey, Pookie's Grammy. She doesn't say what family. She doesn't say who it was. And she doesn't say that why they split up before dinner, right? But the thing we do know is that Sebastian Rogers was last seen by anyone getting into his mother's car and leaving Texas Roadhouse that night. After Sebastian entered her car, he was never seen again. Now, the garbage was heavier than usual. Hey, Brianna's World. That's why the landfill was searched, because whoever did the garbage said that their garbage was heavier than normal. Now, here's the thing. We know that there was no scent of Sebastian outside that home. No scent of him. And we know the weather that night. It was perfect conditions. So that next morning there would have been scents of him everywhere had he walked out of that house. But here's the thing. There's also no scent of him taking out the trash that night. So again, let me make this very crystal clear, as Christopher would say. There is no evidence that Sebastian ever left that house. No evidence that he left that house. No evidence that he took the garbage out that night. No scent of him outside that home, period. There's no video of him leaving that home or anywhere else around the area. And there's no video of him anywhere, actually. Now, the most logical thing that I can conclude from all of that is that Sebastian never made it home from Texas Roadhouse that night. So something happened in between leaving Texas Roadhouse and when Katie arrived home. Now, I know there was mention of a dash cam, but again, this supposed video of the dash cam, Sebastian was not seen on it. Only his voice was heard on it, which she could have had his voice on her phone. It could have been a recording. It could have been anything, right? There, we have no proof. Now, why do I say this as the most logical explanation that he never made it home that night? Because of everything I just said. There's no scent of him outside the home. There would have been had he got out of her vehicle, went into the house, and then walked back out to take the garbage out. The dogs would have picked up a scent. If he walked out the front door like we were told, the dogs would have picked up a scent. He would have been picked up on some kind of camera at some point around the area. That was never, he never was. Now, thinking about everything all together, thinking about the Texas Roadhouse footage where she takes that picture of him and he was never seen again, right? All right, so let's pull this up. Sorry, I'm driving, but I have a quick question. Is there any evidence of Sebastian coming home that night of the 25th? No. That's what I've been saying. No, there is no evidence that he ever returned home. And the cops did say there is no evidence of him leaving that house. That tells me it didn't happen like that. It tells me he never made it home the night before. Exactly. Barefoot is the strongest scent. Did y'all notice that once they searched the landfill in Kentucky, they considered the scent at the construction site to be false? That is a key. CNY, according to neighbors, Sebastian usually got out of the car before it entered the garage, and Sebastian would enter the front door. Yeah, apparently that was the only door he ever used. Evidence points to him never leaving the house, in my opinion, and her saying when I went to wake him for school, he was already gone. Would love for KP to define gone. Is that as in deceased? Right. That I'm totally with you. He was already gone. Right. I understand. I just and if the cops hadn't screwed this up in the beginning because they didn't treat it like a crime scene, nothing was done. Ugh. I know. But it's not too late. According to the detective that I interviewed, you could still go in with luminol and luminol the house even after all this time. But they would obviously need a warrant to do so. And as we know, that has not been done yet. So I don't know, though. to me, there's no evidence that he even made it back into the house that night. And I could be wrong, but yeah, they said Sebastian wore size 10 shoes. And if I'm correct, I think they also said that Chris has a size 10 shoe. She could have pulled in from Texas Roadhouse that night. She could have pulled in. She said that they always pull into the garage, that they recently started parking in the garage. But she pulled into the garage. Nobody would have ever known if Sebastian was in that car that night or not. Bet they get that warrant if they resweep that landfill. Oh my gosh, I know. And it always takes me back to Quentin when they were searching that landfill for that poor little boy. Yeah. All right, so let's get started on her interview. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure they said that he used to have one on the base with her. He had this therapist, but ever now he's only got the one in school. This is Chronicles of Olivia.
Of Sebastian's disappearance, kind of walk through that day. Sunday, the day before he went missing.
Now, in my opinion, she does a lot. She gives us a lot in this interview. Like, she screws up in this interview a few times. Hold on a second. What you looking for? All right.
We got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning.
Like, she's just being weird. Like, are you going to say that? Are you going to act like that? Like, your son is missing. And you're like, we got up that morning. Fun fact, I made breakfast. I don't know. It's so many things wrong with this.
We got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag.
And that never gets explained to us either. And I know I've pointed this out but it's to brag about what? You making breakfast? Like, what are we bragging about?
We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call, and
he's not even he's not even home at this time, so I don't know what she's looking for his approval for, or his, like, yeah, that's what you did.
Our niece. Yeah, I got a call.
You see his sister?
And asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there, we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. about 9 o'clock. Told him to go to bed.
What? She says as soon as we get home, he takes out the trash because that's his chore.
Come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he went in here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid?
Again, I will say it again. You wake up, you find your kid not in bed. Your first thing is never going to be to censor yourself. I mean, us mothers, all of you mothers in the chat right now, you wake up, you find your kid gone. Is the first, what's going to be the first thing that goes through your mind? It's not going to be to censor myself. Holy freaking crap. If there's ever a time for cussing and not censoring yourself, it's when your freaking child is missing and you have no idea what happened to him, right? Like, I would be a basket case for real. Like, I'd been flipping shit. It's all very, very odd.
Choice words were used. Oh, holy freaking crap, this can't be happening.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he? I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But
to me, this is just very rehearsed. This is just very planned. There's no raw emotion here. There is no yearning for your missing child. There is no, I just don't feel or see this loving mother whose child is missing. I don't see that here. And it just seems very blah, very planned, very, very rehearsed. Like, how many times did they go over this? What they were going to say in this interview? Like, she's running it down. It's like a checklist in her mind as she's speaking. That's why she can't look at anybody. She's trying to stay focused on what she's got to, the steps that she's got to remember. In my opinion. I think she's being very careful to, like I said, she's got these bullet points that she's got to hit, and she's trying to stay focused to do that and not forget anything. And it's wild.
after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in 1 minute flat, but I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house. I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove.
Oh, yeah. She jumped in her car, which we just saw. Thank you to Mop Crew, by the way. We just saw her driving around the neighborhood that morning with her windows up. Her windows up. She's not driving slow. She's not yelling out the window. She's not creeping and looking between houses. And you know what I'm saying? She's not doing what a normal mother would be doing. If you were looking for your son, are you really going to be looking for your son with the windows up? Not yelling his name? Not freaking trying to look and see if you can actually see him? Like, it's a big load of crap. And
over by the school and he's already
yep. He's already what, Katie? We can all see your hand gestures.
I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school and he's already at this point I was like hysterical.
He's already
screaming. And he was like, three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I drove back to the house and 20 days later we haven't found him.
20 days later, this took place, this interview, 20 days after he went missing. Oh my God, I would be like, I'd be a wreck, dude. I'd be a freaking wreck.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how stressful that is. And also, when we were driving up here, like this neighborhood is so pretty and nice. And do you think, has he ever walked away before? Or has that ever happened? It's just no, first time.
He's not a child that wanders. He's not one that is
he doesn't have a history of being an eloper, which is common. And I have friends with children on the spectrum who do struggle with elopement with their children. But no, Sebastian, that's one thing. It's always been a blessing. He's not been an eloper or a runner. His primary areas are social and emotional dysregulation issues and things like that. But he's very smart. He's functional. Overall, he's a pretty happy kid. I mean, he's a teenager. He's coming into his hormones. He's angry that he's growing a mustache. But for the most part, he's a happy kid. And
what are your theories? I'm sure your mind has thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
Everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to.
See, I think that's important right there. Oh, shit.
I go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video so many times over.
Thing that you think about this video, or
sure. So
we just know he's out there somewhere.
There's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
Speculating causes problems.
And was outside of the search radius
before
we started searching.
That he was already outside of the search radius before we even started searching. which he'd have been way far out of the radius if he didn't make it home from Texas Roadhouse last night, right? Honey, what are you burning over there, Dal?
To
Oh,
the worst. And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's
I'm really trying not to go
oh
down that road because
no.
we're gonna find him.
speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody
Cause issues with who, Christopher? You? Your family? When you want people thinking of every single thing that it could be? Because, I mean, at this point, you don't know, right? That's the story. You don't know what happened to him. So, anybody's speculation could be correct. Anybody's ideas could be correct. You know what I'm saying?
knows. Right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to be looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
One other question I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video or?
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what it can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I can't either. I cannot believe they did not do any forensics in that house or inside her car. And who even knows if they checked the van either. That's interesting. Where Summer, I've never really thought of it that way. Um, I'm with you, Brianna. Cuz, hello. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, Mom First. Hello. Okay.
Okay.
And anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI news link that they have out there, the updated Amber Alert stuff. And it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has. And they will give you current as far as what's what and how they're looking at things.
And if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Yeah. Security footage is really like.
I believe that she looks down in this entire interview because she's trying to portray herself as sad. She's trying to portray that she is sad and you know and depressed without her son there. But I just don't buy it. I just don't believe it. I just don't buy it.
A game changer. We're working on Riley's strain and trying to find like if someone missed one on a corner or something. So that's
around this neighborhood, and this whole community. I mean, I can tell you that much here. When it comes to the cameras, there has not been one person that has said no. And trust me, it is greatly felt that everybody has been so open, so helpful in pushing out any which way they can. I mean, there's been some families that have actually been on vacation that weren't home, and they got they've got permission from that family to take a look at their cameras and go in their houses without them even being present, which has been amazing. So, but yeah.
That's good. If there was something that you could say to Sebastian if he was listening, what would you say?
Oh, God. That if you can see this or hear this, that we just want you home, baby, and we love you. And there ain't nothing gonna stop us from coming and getting you and bringing you home.
I can't speak for his father, but I'm pretty sure we all have the same opinion that we love you, miss you, we want you home. And if you can, call us, get wherever you can, let us know, and we will come get you.
Call 911, run out into the street, go in public, anything. The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness because, you know, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know? You know, it is amazing because in the past couple of weeks, you've got 2 cases. A 15-year-old boy that has vanished without a trace. You've got a 22-year-old 6'4" or 7" college kid from Missouri
SF's a
who has
friggin'
vanished
liar.
without a trace. That's a huge significance here. That it's like, wow, how? So
It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the college kid is from Missouri, I think.
Yeah, Missouri.
I can only imagine what his family is going through.
It's like your worst nightmare come alive.
Do you guys receive hate on the internet?
Yes, and it's ongoing. It's every single day. People are people, and they have their opinions. Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on and who's guilty and who's not guilty because they want to know or they feel they need to know. There's a difference. Unfortunately, what I will tell you is that when you're the family in this position and you're working with law enforcement, and everything's going the way it goes, people automatically assume this parent or that parent. And in this situation, I can promise you, every single parent has been vetted.
Well, Christopher, your promises don't mean jack shit to the public. We've come to know who you are. We've come to know your personality. We've come to know the type of man that you are. And I know this was only 20 days in, but yeah. Yeah.
I can't go into details, but I can tell you we have been vetted and we have been cleared.
That pisses me off. They have never been cleared. Ellie has never cleared any of them. Period. Except Seth was at work during this time. They have him on video at work. So not really sure why he hasn't been cleared. But Katie has no alibi. So not looking good for her. And Chris says he was out of town. It's been verified that he was there. It's been verified that he was at his campsite at 8 p.m. on the night of the 25th, but he was not seen again until 5:15 a.m. on the 26th at work.
All possibility of wrongdoing, foul play, there's nothing to that. We've heard all kinds of stories.
I pretty much don't even go online anymore at this point.
I, on the other hand, I do go on and I do talk to these folks, and I want them to understand they have this formulated opinion on who we are, not who we truly are. They've never met us. We've never crossed paths with some of these folks. But I have told them online, if you want to know, just ask
Lori.
me. I'll answer your questions to the best of what I can. There are some things that I cannot give you because law enforcement has dictated that we are not to provide certain information. But I will try. I am direct, I am brash, but I am very respectful. So,
very respectful to who?
Ask. I'll give you what I can.
Every time you say something he don't like, he comes at you like a freaking, like a lunatic.
Please. And keep in mind, there's 3 parents and there's thousands and millions of people out there that may have a question. We are trying to get to them. I promise you.
How has your guys' life been affected by that? Like, I know it's a broad question, but what's like when you wake up in the morning, what's it just like?
Miserable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Miserable, to be honest with you. Like, can you show some emotion, lady? This is your problem. And for so long, you didn't see any emotion from her. And then the last two interviews she's done, it's like you can't shut the waterworks off, but it feels all so orchestrated. And also, it feels so freaking rehearsed that it's like, holy cow.
Think of it like this. You wake up every morning and your routine is what it is and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens and you can't figure out what to do. You struggle every single day on trying to get out of the bed, to deal and face everybody's negativity, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not home.
We have a bedroom that's empty that is never normally ever empty, except for when he's with his dad every other weekend. So now we have a child that's missing. So there's no words to describe it, but I can just tell you, it's like you get up and now you don't know what to do.
Sebastian's parents also talked about how his actions and behaviors could be different, or how he would respond in a new environment.
Well, that's kind of tricky because Sebastian hasn't been on his medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious. He's going to be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's your teenage boy, always hungry. On the spectrum, yes. But not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy.
Yup, goofy.
He kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered
every single time. Chris speaks on Sebastian, he mentions this about the personal space. Every time.
He can be
up in your face kind of kid.
He can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah.
And she brings up his aggressiveness. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a broken mother here. I don't. I mean, I don't see a broken mother here at all. Wild child, hello. Correct. I believe that. Chris knows Sebastian isn't going without food for 20 days. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Wild child. There's no proof he did. Okay.
He's emotional. He's a teenager.
He doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really like aggressive stance or like clipped where he just won't talk to you, or if he's really upset, he like growls.
Yeah, he. Man.
See, that laugh bothers me. Like, I can see, I don't know, she said he growls. I don't know, but Seth was asked about that, and he goes, well, what do you think of how they're describing Sebastian? And this was way back when, and he was like, they're describing him when he was 9-10 years old. They're not describing him now. Like, he doesn't act like that now. But when Katie mentions that he growls when he gets upset or angry, and Chris starts laughing, like, you can tell that Sebastian's feelings do not matter to Chris at all whatsoever. He laughs about it because he thinks it's funny. He thinks Sebastian being upset and angry is funny. And it just disgusts me. Like, seriously, like, I want to reach through the screen, take both their heads, smash them together, and be like, where the fuck is Sebastian? Let's stop playing these games. Where is your son? Obviously I can't do that, but that's what I'd like to do.
Sure, look.
Be vigilant. We don't expect everybody to stop what they do and spend every waking minute. But you would be surprised on how easily people are complacent and not realize certain things. We're all guilty because we're all human. We all live a daily life. But sometimes just being a little bit extra vigilant.
Aware of your surroundings in case there's something suspicious.
You never know. But don't ever stop is all we ask. Please keep looking, keep searching. Anything, reach out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely keep his story in the spotlight, and all it takes is for one person to see something or know something, and
We need is
that's just that one clue.
The old saying, see something, say something.
and a few others, but we're working with everyone we can. And taking, like, some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them. Truckers Against Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
Biker world, that's one thing everybody has in common is their love for a child, and they can't stand to see children missing, hurt, and it doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what group it is. That's one commonality between every group. And that's why as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word. You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So
how can people help?
This community, I'm going to tell you right now, far and wide, multiple communities, counties, various people, some people in other states reach out either through social media, in person, but everybody is searching.
Come on, Katie, reach down deep in there somewhere and try to find an emotion for your son. Stare at that picture for how long? Trying to dig up some type of emotion. It's sickening.
Looked. They're constantly looking. They're constantly giving us ideas. Hey, check this. What about this? All of that is great.
Report anything that could potentially, even if it's little.
It doesn't matter what it is. However, what we can ask is that instead of people assuming and trying to put negative out there, just try to stay with the facts and report all the things that are positive. Any ideas that may help. Trust me, all law enforcement are available and they are looking at everything.
Sebastian Rogers is still missing. If you know something,
She is cold as ice. I know. Fun fact, snacks. She says, I know. Fun fact, snacks, because he's 15, and snacks, that's a statement that she thought would be clever and fun, Mom. Google it. Weren't they military? Yeah, they were in the Navy. Listen, imprint, Navy or not, if you have love for your child and your child is missing, you're going to have that emotion. I mean, there's no, fucking military this. My child is missing. I'd be, I feel like I see where you're coming from, but I don't think that's it. I Googled it, y'all. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm like a cool mom. Yeah. A fun mom. Well, yeah, they're being interviewed. What are they going to do? First, they didn't come out for 8 days. 8 days was the first time they spoke on their missing child. And, well, imagine if they didn't come out at all. You know what people would be saying? They had to come out. They had no choice. All right, moving on. Yeah, they didn't come out for 8 days. They didn't say shit for 8 days.
Do not buy new windows if you live in New York. Americans living in zip codes starting with 10, 11, 12.
A missing teen in Sumner County described to us exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Payton.
And I'm Lauren Lowry. Sebastian Rogers is 15. He was last seen by his parents on February 25th in Hendersonville. Sebastian has autism, and he's gone without his medication this whole time. And since then, authorities have searched by air, by foot, and on horseback.
Helicopters, drones, and dive teams have also been brought in to try to find him. Today, his parents spoke exclusively to our Holly Thompson.
She's live tonight in Sumner County. Holly, I imagine it was quite an emotional interview.
Certainly was. It is hard for any of us to imagine the emotions that this family is going through right now. But we know one thing is certain. They remain positive. They are holding on to hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know.
See, she got so much shit for not having, people called her out for not having any emotion in that last interview. Yeah, now she's way over the top.
Where he's at.
Mom Katie broke down several times in our interview, but says her hope is strong that her son Sebastian will be found safe and return home.
He's going to walk through that door, and this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster that all started Sunday night, February 25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris, who was working out of town, and they quit.
Not on the phone with 911. She was on the phone with Chris. Not calling his dad. She was on the phone with Chris.
Quickly called 911.
And he's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
Again, just to make it very crystal clear, there is zero evidence that he ever walked out that door. There is zero evidence of him leaving that house, period.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Katie and Chris say Sebastian is not on social media. While he loves to play Minecraft, they tell me he does not have any online capabilities. I asked if there was any reason he might want to leave.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him.
That's weird. Let me go back just a hair. So she says the days before we've been combing through it, trying to figure it out, even the days before, and I can't figure it out. That morning, he was playing and laughing. Now, I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, that's weird. She must be talking about that morning, the morning of the 26th. But what I think is weird is when she says, okay, we've been combing through the last couple days, like I can't figure out where it went wrong or what had happened. She only mentions that he was happy in the morning, right? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law.
And he was joking. He left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law enforcement, canines, helicopters, even dive teams, and no sign of him. Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts.
Are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
You're not in trouble.
Now, Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview with Sebastian's parents on our WSMV4 app. Live.
Yeah, because I couldn't find it. I looked for the
Here in
full
Hendersonville,
interview
Holly Thompson.
for a freaking half hour last night and couldn't find it. That's what I was looking for. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Um, yeah. No, I could not find it. CNY, yes. Saturday morning was happy, but then dragging him all over, and by TRH, he didn't look happy at all. I wonder what CP would do to KP if she hit his daughter with a belt. I was telling the state trooper here where I live about how he wasn't on any video leaving and he was supposed to be only with her at home, and he said the same thing. What the heck are they doing? Yeah. That right, exactly, Neuro. So she's like, come home, you're not in any trouble. But she does say before, well, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's not, I could understand it more if we were fighting, but we weren't fighting. So I don't understand why he walked out that door. And there's just so many things wrong. So many things wrong with all of these interviews. Morning, Lori. Welcome. Yeah, I couldn't find that full interview for some reason. I even went on WSMV4, couldn't find it, and went on YouTube and couldn't find it, by itself without somebody walking through it. So, all right, let's get to this next one. Now, these are the most recent interviews. These are just like the news interviews, not like the panel interviews. Mother of Sebastian Rogers, 1 year without son. We're never going to stop searching.
Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home near Beach High School in Sumner County. He's 16 now. But there are still no confirmed sightings or leads in the case.
Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino sat down with Rogers' mother, Katie Proudfoot, and the search for her son and the ongoing public scrutiny surrounding this investigation.
Green tea. A voice and an exuberant smile that have been missing for a year that Sebastian Rogers has gone without his favorite things.
Cats are the number one. He loves animals, almost all animals.
Animals, video games, books, and any chance in the pool.
He loves water. He swims like a fish.
Sebastian also missed his birthday.
December 7th. He would
have turned 16.
He turned 16, and he should be home for that.
But Sebastian, who has autism, hasn't been home since February of last year. After dinner at the Texas Roadhouse on the 25th, Katie says she and her son went home.
Did anything happen the night he went missing that was like cause him to run away? Was he punished in any way? An argument? Just a normal night?
It was a normal night. It was a calm night.
That turned tumultuous by the next morning.
When I went in his room and he wasn't there. He wasn't in his bed.
Katie says she frantically searched the house and drove around the neighborhood at 6:30 a.m. until she and Sebastian's stepfather, who says he was away for work at the time, called police.
We need you to search your properties every day.
But an Amber Alert and an extensive week-long search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill 2 hours away, still saying they had found nothing.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
For the next year, any activity involving Sebastian's case would fuel droves of online followers and even a restraining order against one YouTuber.
There were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us.
What would you say to those people?
Just stop.
Fox 17 News sent the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the lead agency in the investigation, a list of questions in anticipation of this story, including asking if there are any new leads, what kind of evidence detectives have vetted, and if investigators still believe there is no indication of foul play. Sheriff Eric Craddock responded in an email saying, "This is an active and ongoing investigation. We continue to work with our state and federal partners. We will continue to seek a resolution in this case."
What do you believe happened to Sebastian?
Hey, Kristen.
Unfortunately, over the last year, I have thought every single day, night, every moment of every possibility of something that could happen to him, where he could have gone, if he had gone with someone, if someone took him willingly, unwillingly, if he'd run away and got lost, if he'd a million different things. And unfortunately, I don't know.
But Katie and a private investigator she retained believe this piece of surveillance video taken the night that Sebastian went missing could be a lead in the case.
1217, a couple 100 yards away, there's a figure.
The Sumner County Sheriff said the video has no relevance to the case, but the Proudfoots aren't dismissing it until the identity of the person is confirmed by investigators. Unfortunately, any possible break in Sebastian's case has gone nowhere.
No child goes poof.
He's somewhere.
Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, has also endured a year without his son.
Sebastian, son.
Seth brought in a team offering their own reward of $347,000. That's on top of the FBI's $50,000 reward.
To stop looking is to give up hope.
Hope that's still evident among volunteer searchers.
I'm not going to stop.
Missing signs and ribbons in Sebastian's favorite color.
And God, right now we're seeking you to reveal the truth to us.
Katie says detectives searching for that truth left no question unasked.
Lie detectors.
Yes.
For yourself
and my husband.
Which Katie says they passed. We don't know what investigators say about the test, but Katie says they have searched her home.
Thoroughly, many times. Cadavers, searchers.
What do police tell you at this point? What do they think?
Unfortunately, that they have zero evidence.
Zero trace of the boy with a smile that's imprinted on countless hearts, especially, Katie says, on her own.
I would just like to tell my son that I love him and to know that we are never going to stop searching.
So a lost smile can be found. Anyone who believes they may have seen Sebastian Rogers.
Yes, he has quit. Yeah. Another news report states landfill was searched on the 26th from trash truck. Okay, now let's just get to this last interview here, which was just done 1 month ago.
So first, thank you both for taking the time to come talk with me. I appreciate it.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
So first, thank you both for taking the time to come talk with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So here we are. So it's an entire year after Sebastian's disappearance. There's no really strong lead. There's no sighting yet. So tell me what you're feeling now. Here we are 1 year later.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. The amount of ups and downs, the amount of like possible leads that haven't panned out. We every day, you know, it's like waking up to this reality that it's actually real. And I mean, Sebastian should be home with us. I mean, he should be in school. He should be playing. He should be learning. He should be experiencing life. And until we can find him and until we can bring him home, we're going to keep doing everything we can to make sure that people don't forget about him. We're going to keep making sure that we spread awareness for him, and we're going to keep searching, and we're definitely going to keep praying.
Did she read somewhere or see somewhere that looking down at the ground is always, you know what I mean, makes you seem like you care more, makes you seem like you're more upset, makes you seem like you're more sad and depressed, and because she does it in every freaking interview she does.
You've told me you do want to stay positive. I know you both want to stay positive. That's all part of it. So in your mind, do you see Sebastian coming back through your front door Do you feel he's okay? He's alive. He's out there.
I dream about it every day. I dream that one day I'm going to wake up and this is going to be a nightmare. But yes, I believe that my son is out there somewhere. I believe that we are going to find him. We are going to bring him home, and we're going to find a way to recover from this. And I'm going to watch him grow into a young man and, you know, live the life that he deserves to have.
What would you say to him when he walked in that door?
Oh God, I don't even know if I'd be able to speak. I'd probably bulldoze him down with hugs. Honestly, when I picture that, I just picture being able to hug him, to hold him, to smell him. I mean, just to be able to hear his voice, to hear his laugh, to see him just be with us and be okay is like I can't wait to see my son. I want to find him so bad.
You think he's coming home, right? How would you describe what you all have experienced this last year with so many unanswered questions still?
It's horrific, to be honest with you. I don't know how to describe what it feels like to watch the news, to go hang flyers in every store, every business, every place that you go to, and still find that some people don't even know about it. To hear that there might be a lead, and then just to sit there and have to wait and find out that it's not him yet. And
it's pure hell. I mean, there's nothing you can, there's no words, there's no way to put how this actually feels. And anybody that can, I don't see how. I mean, it's day-to-day life changes and you're stuck. It's almost like it feels like it's a Groundhog Day thing where it's the same thing over and over. You wait and you hope a phone call may come in. You may get something, may get a lead. Turns out to be nothing. That's how it feels.
What is that message? I know we were talking earlier last week. Tell me what that message is that you want to make sure our viewers hear from you tonight.
I want to thank everyone who is searching. I want to thank everyone who is spreading flyers, spreading awareness. I want to ask everyone not to forget, and I want to encourage people to keep helping and to keep bringing awareness, not only to our son, but to all of the missing children, because they all deserve to go home. And I would also like to say that if my son could hear it, that we love him so much, and that we are going to keep searching. We are going to keep looking. We are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Describe your hope right now.
I'm trying to be positive as I can, because I know that my son is out there. I struggle to find words to even describe how it feels anymore, because it's a living nightmare, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about the fact that Sebastian is out there and that we are looking for him, and we're going to keep looking for him, and we're going to keep praying to God that he is okay. And we're going to bring him home.
Ay, ay, ay. And also when she was like, I just want to hug him, and, all I can think about is just hugging him, and, I miss him so much, and smelling him, and she just, none of this feels genuine to me. Now, again, I don't have the greatest experience with my own mother. So I could be jaded in this. I could be, I could be looking at this from a whole different perspective that other people don't see it from. But I just don't see the genuine love and the genuine care that someone would have in this type of situation. Exactly.
This story, we know it's baffled our Hendersonville community. We know it's baffled the mid-state community. It's baffled much of the country as they hear about it.
But we can't keep overlooking the facts. And people want to overlook the facts, and the facts are that there is no evidence at all whatsoever, all this time later, that he ever left that house. We know he's not in the house because the house has been searched. So the only logical conclusion that you can come to is that he did not make it home in the first place. Now, I know a lot of people are stuck on the lights, and I've discussed the lights before. And at first I was on that same boat. I was like, okay, there's something with these lights. It makes no sense. But now the more that I think of it, if you were trying to push a timeline and a certain date, like the 26th, you would need that, right? That would make sense. But what if it's not that? What if it's that he didn't disappear on the 26th, that he actually disappeared on the 25th? And now that FBI, TBI, all these agencies have changed his last seen date to the 25th, and she went to bed at midnight that night, it would only make sense that he disappeared sometime on the 25th. And it seems to me that, without coming right out and directly saying it, they're saying that he went missing on the 25th. The only way that could have been possible, because we saw him at Texas Roadhouse, was if somewhere between Texas Roadhouse and his mother's house, he never made out. Something happened to him in between in between that little section. So the question is, what, who, where, why? Well, we know why. We don't need to answer the why. We know why. They didn't want him in the house. They wanted him gone. They wanted him gone. They didn't care. They wanted to put him in a facility, whatever. They didn't want him in the house. She took a picture of him at Texas Roadhouse. What was that picture used for? Who was that picture sent to? Why was that picture taken? And it's not like, hey, look, Sebastian, I'm going to take your picture real quick. No, it was hidden. She tried to sneak it. None of this just, it just doesn't add up.
Is there anything that stands out to you that's the most baffling? Like you're just trying to understand
how we've gone this long and still.
Right. Okay, let's say he was taken. Let's say he was taken in the middle of the night, right? She would have had to have. Nobody was ever seen coming or going from the house. She would have had to have given whoever it was the code to get into the house. Again, we don't know if the door was locked. She says the door was locked when she got up that morning. We don't know that. They had canceled their Brink's home security a month before this. I believe this was a whole long premeditated deal, plan. That's another thing that I wanted to mention. Let's say, now again, this is not fact. This is just theory, speculation, opinion, okay? Allegedly. Let's say that he didn't come home from Texas Roadhouse that night, and she was on the phone with Chris for 3 hours formulating their plan, their story on what was going to go down that next morning, how things were going to go, what she was going to do. You know what I mean? 3 hours is a very long time to be on the phone with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're newly together. That's a long time to be on the phone. Unless you were coming up with some kind of story, plan, allegedly. Okay, now let's say he did come home from Texas Roadhouse that night, and those lights in the middle of the night do have something to do with Sebastian. Again, no one was seen coming or going from that house. My dogs. No scents of Sebastian were picked up outside of that home. I don't know. I mean, both are very plausible. Both could be, it could be one or the other. I'm just not buying what they're selling, is all.
Still haven't found him, honestly, I don't understand how we haven't found him yet.
Why do you think Sebastian is still missing?
That's tough to say. I mean, it was the largest manhunt in Tennessee history for a child. And absolutely zero evidence. There's nothing out there. Law enforcement's working due diligently. They are working hard over and over and over. We appreciate everything they do. I mean, it is an active investigation, so I don't want to go into it. But it is mind-blowing at the same time that it's been a year, and the amount of people that still don't know about this, it's unnerving, basically.
And I know you both want to try to get the word out as much as possible, and that's what this story, obviously, that's what we're trying to do as well. There are many people who still do not know that you all have hired a private investigator. What can you tell me about the video that he recently has discovered and wants to share? I know this has been shared with authorities now.
Yes,
it has. This is involving the neighborhood that you live in.
Which, according to authorities, they've had this said video sent 72 hours after he went missing, or after he was reported missing, I should say. And they came right out to dispel that. So
then, what can you tell me about that video?
It's eye-opening to see that this is something that recently has surfaced, and it's been this long. It's just taking that long to find something. And what the video shows is kind of mind-boggling. We went from potentially not having a sighting to potentially having a sighting. And it kind of changes, like, wait a minute, now we may have something to actually work off of and move forward with and see where this goes. Exercise every avenue till its fullest.
No
It doesn't
stone
matter.
unturned. No stone unturned. And Katie, you told me earlier you were determined to get to the bottom of this, to get to the bottom of that video.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that could possibly be something that could lead us to him. We're going to keep looking. We're going to keep digging and keep finding and confirm if it is or isn't, because, I mean, if it's possible, then it's got to be confirmed.
How hopeful are you that this video truly has something that could lead to finding Sebastian?
I pray that if there is anything even remotely in it that could help us find Sebastian, I pray that it is I don't know how to word it, but it's followed up and found out and confirmed one way or the other, because, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the video. I know it's in it. It actually gives us more rejuvenated hope that we may actually be onto something. We just have to run it down. We've got to figure this out. And with law enforcement doing what they can, and with the help of like TBI, the FBI, all of that. I mean, I believe Secret Service was involved in the beginning. Maybe they can look at this video as well. Let's bring people back to the table, and let's exercise every possibility of enhancing this video, looking at whatever, and tackling what it is to get an answer.
Now, this is your chance to respond, to speak out, to speak your mind, whatever it is that you want to say.
This is where I get, a little bit unsure, is with the Ellie, because I mean, they absolutely 100% dropped the ball in the beginning of this case. They didn't treat it like they should have treated it. They didn't contain the scene, his house, the scene. They didn't test what they should have tested. They didn't luminol it. They didn't treat it like a possible crime scene. They didn't do their due diligence in the beginning. But then, Craddock has said, like, well, Katie, his mother said that he has no shoes on, but I'm not going to say that he's barefoot. So there's a contradiction there. And then when SF puts out this video, the cops immediately come out and they're like, listen, this video has nothing to do with Sebastian. It's not him, blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, I go back and forth, like with law enforcement. I'm like, a lot of the time it doesn't seem like they're doing their job, and it seems like they could possibly be allegedly, on the side of the Proudfoots. On the other hand, there's some times where I'll be like, dang, are they working this case? Like, what, what I mean? And it just, so I could say that Ellie, I am unsure of. I'm not 100% on them one way or the other, because of everything's just so shifty and shady all the time. So I'm not really sure where I land on Ellie, but I am 100% convinced that Katie knows what happened to her son.
But no matter what the story is, there are always people who will point fingers. What do you want to say to anyone out there who wants to say that one of you could have something to do with Sebastian's disappearance?
I would say to pause and to think, and I would say to consider the sources of information. Try to make sure that you're getting legitimate information. Avoid the rumors. And I would say that everyone should pause and remember why we all came together in the first place. And that is because Sebastian's missing, and because I'd like to believe that we all want to find him. And no matter what anyone's personal opinion is, that the most important thing still remains that Sebastian needs to be found and Sebastian needs to come home. And I would just say thank you to everyone and anyone that is a part of that.
You notice every time they're asked this question, they never come out and say, we didn't do this. They never come out and say, we did not hurt Sebastian. We did not get rid of Sebastian. We are not responsible for him going missing. They never come out and just directly say, listen, we didn't do this. Ever.
So let's say Sebastian is listening when this is running, and he hears you, he sees you. What do you want to say to him?
I would say that I love you so very much, and that I hope that you're okay. And I would say that know that we all...
Which doesn't make any sense, by the way. Let me just point this out. Ellie gave Seth a look at the last proof of life video of them leaving at TRH. The footage of the trash to the curb was a hoodie up and face undistinguishable. Now, Katie said that they left Texas Roadhouse, they went home, and as soon as they got home, the first thing Sebastian did was take out the trash because that's his chore. In the Texas Roadhouse video, he was not wearing a hoodie. He was wearing a long sleeve shirt. So he would have had to gone home, got a hoodie on, and taken out the trash. Right? But why? Why not just, since you're already out, you get out of the car from Texas Roadhouse, why not just grab the trash can and take it to the curb? Why go inside, put a hoodie on, and walk the trash can out to the end of the driveway? It doesn't make any sense. It's not like he was freezing. He'd been in the same clothes he was in, right? She was in black pants. He had on jeans and a black shirt. That's what I'm saying. There's no proof that Sebastian took that garbage out. Well, in the Texas Roadhouse video, she was wearing black pants and a dark blue, wasn't it blue? A dark blue hoodie. Or I believe that's what she was wearing. But now I'm thinking, I don't know if hers had a hood on it or not, but I believe she took out the garbage. I don't think Sebastian took out the garbage. Think about that. So she said as soon as we got home, he took out the garbage. Again, Sebastian was wearing jeans, blue jeans, and a black long sleeve shirt with a Star Wars character on it. He would have had to gone in, changed his pants and his shirt, and then taken the trash. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't think that was very thought through. Oh, was it short sleeves? Well, either way, it wasn't a hoodie. I could say that. Either way, it was not a hoodie. So it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so it just doesn't make sense that he would have gone in, changed his clothes, then come back outside and taken the trash out. What does make sense is he would have got out of the car, grabbed the trash can, and took it. But that's not what happened. In the video, you could not tell who was taking out the trash can because they had their hood up and you couldn't make out their face. But if you wanted to use that as proof of life, trying to prove that he made it home from Texas Roadhouse that night, and you needed proof of life of him being home on a camera, you said he took out the trash. See what I'm saying? It probably was. That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm trying to say. The only reason that she would have been the one to take out the trash was to try to make it, because she said that Sebastian took out the garbage, was to try to say, look, there's Sebastian. He made it home from Texas Roadhouse. Look, there he is taking out the garbage. But again, you couldn't tell who was taking out the garbage. And the only reason that you would have to make that up and say, look, he was taking out the garbage to prove proof of life, the only reason you would have to fake that is if he didn't come home from Texas Roadhouse that night. Period.
Love you. And that there are so many people that care and so many people that are looking, and hang in there and know that we're going to find you, know that we're going to bring you home. Just, I miss him so much. So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking. Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request, just anyone that's willing, don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story, not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more attention, because all children
Just as much, if not more attention. Other children deserve more attention than Sebastian. I mean, need I say anything else? Need I say anything more?
do, but I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, excuse me, sorry.
But if
He
you have a
does,
hoodie on, it would be hard to tell.
struggle sometimes with expressing himself is, I guess, the best way that I could put that.
No.
But he's so smart, and
Let me clear that up. They did not have. Okay, so we've been told there was a dash cam footage, right, from her that night when they returned home. However, when they were talking about it, they said that you couldn't see Sebastian on there. You could only hear his voice on the dash cam. But I mean, let's be honest, guys. How easy would it have been? She could have had a video of him on her phone, and she just, you know what I'm saying? Just to get his voice. This is so crazy. Think about it. I mean, if you're planning, you got to think, if you are planning the disappearance of your child and you had to fake him being there, putting on a video or putting on a hoodie, dressing in all black to take out the garbage can to try to prove that that was Sebastian, putting a video on your phone in your car so you can hear Sebastian's voice at the dash on the dash cam when you supposedly returned home. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. to think, but parents, I mean, people do this all the people do this kind of things. That's true. It could have been, but it could have been, but I don't know. I don't have a dash cam, so I don't know if they're like time and date stamped and everything like that. But I'm saying they you couldn't see anything on the dash cam. It was only voice.
He's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent. And I think that in the chaos of trying to get the initial information about him out, that various things got taken and misconstrued. So I would just tell everyone that he's smart, he's capable, he's funny, he's able to speak to you and to recognize things. You know, he's a teenager, and you know, so he's a young man. Honestly, he just had a birthday, and I'm sure that his mustache is coming in more. I mean, he really is a good kid.
What do you miss most about your son?
Oh God, I miss his smile. I miss his laugh. I miss going and doing fun things with him. I miss taking him to get a haircut and him saying, "Mom, feel my head." I miss cooking dinner with him. I miss game nights. He would play Uno until the sun came up if you let him. You know, he goes through phases of which games he's into, but you know, I miss him. I miss everything about him, the good, the bad. I miss his attitude. I miss, you know, him trying to eat all the sweets instead of dinner. I miss him stealing my Brussels sprouts while I'm trying to cook them.
Oh. I sense lots of joy that's being missed right now.
Green tea.
His jokes, the way he laughs when he tells a funny. He had there's a video that I put out that he was being goofy, and he had this like half gallon of green tea that he had gotten from the grocery store, and he thought of this joke, and he ran in the kitchen and he grabbed a green cup and he was like, "Mom, green tea." And it was just so funny, and I was just like, "Dude, hold on, you got to do that again." And I grabbed my phone and I was like, "You got to do it again." And he was like, "Green tea." And he was just like, it's not in the video, but he was just rolling because he just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And
He's got some quirky one-liners.
oh God, he was getting getting to where he had some good ones.
Sounds like a great sense of humor.
It was definitely developing. He was coming into his sarcasm. You know, like one of the other videos I released, when it's hard to hear, but we were bowling, and because he has a lot of fun with it. He actually was getting a lot better without bumpers, but he like rolled a good roll, and he turns around and he's like, "You got wrecked, Mom." And I was just like, what is happening right now? But I mean, I miss that, you know, I miss being able to hang out with him, you know, because he's not little anymore, you know, which we had a lot of fun when he was little, but when they get older, you know, you start being able to do different things with
Oh shit. I had my mic muted. She said we had a lot of fun when he was younger, but now that he's gotten older. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people want to put out these clips and these videos and these pictures of Sebastian when he was younger and having fun with Chris and Katie and doing this and that and Chris teaching him things. But it seemed like maybe the last year or so, year or a little over a year, was maybe not the best of times, like somewhere along that line, things changed. And as far as Katie and Chris's feelings towards Sebastian, and so people put out these clips and they're like, oh my God, look at, they were so nice to him and they had such a good time together and yada yada yada. And it's like, dude, not for nothing, but Chris Watts had lots of photos and videos taken with his family, and we all know how that turned out. So don't do that. Don't put out these things and be like, well, look, things were good. These people didn't do nothing to him. Because a picture and a video and a 2-minute video, those are little moments in the big picture. Those are little tiny moments in the big picture. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Look at that mother, Lindsay Clancy, who I covered. She strangled her 3 kids. One was like a baby. She strangled her 3 kids in the basement of her home and then went up to the 2nd story and jumped out of the window and then claimed insanity, from postpartum depression. I want to say her youngest was like 1.5 years old at the time. But I'm just saying that they had all kinds of fun activities and videos and pictures. You cannot do that. You cannot put out a still shot of one moment and say, look how happy they were as a family. You cannot put out 2-minute video and say, look how happy they were. Because there's always good times inside the big story, inside the big picture. There's always good times inside a sad story. You know what I'm saying?
With them, and game nights are, God, they're a blast sometimes. Is it
Man, had pool days this year.
whole days? It's big in the summer. He loves to go to the pool as much as possible. Swimming. Oh God, he wants to swim. He's I don't know if I put that picture out or not, but there's one that I took of him. He has on this like giant, I think it was a flamingo, and he was just like just being a cool guy.
Yeah, every time she talks about a good memory or something good or something that it's all from before. None of that is recent. And that's the key. Like, okay, Katie, can we not talk about Sebastian when he was 12? Let's talk about Sebastian from 14 to 15. Let's talk about that year. How were things during that time? How were things during the last year that he was before he went missing? Let's discuss those times, because that's where the turmoil is. That's where the abuse is. That's where all these things took place.
Being a fun kid. For our viewers, before we end this, I guess your message for them is just keep hope alive. Yes.
Remember him.
Keep looking.
Share his face, because talking about him is what we want to do, but we want to make sure that people know his face. We want to know that people know who they're looking for. And we would just ask that everyone just kind of be aware of your surroundings in general. You never know. And all it
takes is just one person that could make a difference. And go ahead.
I would say, if anything, constantly being vigilant, just looking out there, aware of what your surroundings are. Please, if you see something, call 911, call TBI. I know there's a lot of other things out there, but
We would encourage.
we just need, it needs to be segregated, like just a single point of right back to law enforcement. That's where it needs to go. Anybody that sees anything, just report it, please.
Do you feel that there's someone out there right now that knows something? They're just not saying it?
It's hard to say until we can run down this video and figure out what we're seeing. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to, because it's an active investigation. I don't want to add any more
rumor
chaos that's already out there. We just want to keep this to the core, Sebastian.
Keeping hope alive.
Yes.
The
Keeping
search
hope
goes
alive.
on. We are hopeful and we are praying for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right? That's what I'm saying too. That's what I'm saying too. So I hope you guys could kind of understand where I was coming from, the points that I was trying to get across in this. And it's never what you see, right? It's never what you think. There's always something else. So I just want people to kind of think about that, and those different possibilities, because again, why would you have to fake proof of life, aka Sebastian taking out the trash, if he was actually home? You know what I mean? Why would you do that? You wouldn't have to. But there was something going on behind the scenes. There was a plan being hatched. There was things. No, I'll just leave it at that. There's a plan. There's a plan being hatched behind the scenes. And that in my opinion is where the focus needs to be. But definitely, let me hear your thoughts. I'm going to end this one here. Please hit that like button. Please share this video, and please consider becoming a member of the family if you're not already. And please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm going to end this one here. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I will see you all next time.